While the transition from the 11th to the 12th Parliament marks a key moment in Uganda's political calendar, sections of the opposition say questions remain over the election outcome and representation in the new House. Even as preparations for the swearing-in gather pace, debate is already emerging in political circles over what the new parliamentary term signals for Uganda's democracy.
The alert we are seeing in the few months from election period, from election date, really projects where we are going ahead of the next five years.
Former presidential candidate Frank Bulira says the post-election period reflects deeper concerns about governance and democratic space.
One of our former candidates, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, was was forced to go into exile, just as he said that he went to exile, but he gave reasons why he went to exile. The situation forced him to go to exile. Retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye, a former political actor and key player in the opposition, in fact the pivot of the opposition, he's still behind bars. At this juncture, many political players, the Sam Mugumias, the Norman Tumuhimbise, who has just been arrested recently, they are still behind bars, plus many foot soldiers and political actors.
Bulira urges that political tensions remain, saying it is unfortunate that a government that describes itself as democratic continues to restrict political activity and exert pressure on opposition actors.
The opposition and the UFDO, at this moment, we have been trying to interact with the different political players, different stakeholders in this country, cultural and religious organizations, the diplomatic missions, and all other change-loving agents in Uganda and out of the country to see that we have a common voice.
Long live NRM, long live Uganda.
On governance, Bulira links corruption concerns to early decisions in the current NRM term, including the president's pledge of 100 million shillings to NRM MPs-elect at their Chankwanzi retreat.
We are seeing corruption starting up this term, this new term of Mr. Museveni. And the corruption well started from their retreat in Chankwanzi, giving 100 million shillings to every legislator. At this situation and time, when people are still living under abject poverty, when kids up country are still going to school barefooted, and these kids, most of them are coming from up-country constituencies that are being represented by NRM MPs. No one can get this, say that, okay, let me get this money, I take it back to the constituency to help rebuild schools, to help the vulnerables, or to at least provide the scholastic materials. They are all just going to bag. In fact, they all just bagged the money for their selfish interest.
At the same time, economic concerns are taking center stage. Rising fuel prices, proposed tax measures before Parliament, and the implementation of trade regulations that are already impacting livelihoods.
Traders are being evicted, kiosks being demolished. We don't know why the hurry, why now, why the speed of demolishing before the swearing in. It's remaining with just a few days or weeks, but traders have been demolished. Before it used to be in Kampala metropolitan, now it is in the whole country. People are crying in Mbale, in Mbarara. I was in Kyotera, Kalisizo, Masaka. Traders have been evicted. People have lost their properties.
Bulira has also weighed in on recent remarks by President Yoweri Museveni on limiting movement amid soaring fuel prices.
People are driving on the road. If the fuel is expensive, don't travel, stay at home. Where are you going? I'm not really worried about you. What I was worried about was jet fuel. Because jet fuel is not only just for travel, it is for tourism. If the cost of the jet fuel is very expensive, the tourists will not come.
This is coming at the same time when fuel prices are also high. You remember President Museveni was in a few days in Kenya, and he told Ugandans that if prices of fuel are high, don't move. Where are you moving? And where are you going? So you don't want people to move from their homes to go and work. Even on his swearing in, he normally transports people. He's going to transport people to come to Kololo and be part of his swearing in, as he always does. Going to Kenya, where he made that statement, he went using taxpayers' fuel. His jets to consume fuel. And in any case, he's the biggest consumer of fuel because he has over 40 to 50 cars. And these are cars which are ever in full tank. So he's the biggest consumer of fuel. And if we were to fight the issue of fuel prices getting high, the president should be the number one example. He said one of his properties is his boda, but we have never seen him riding his boda. Idi Amin Dada used to ride his bicycle around Kampala streets. So President Museveni should help us and be an example as he's planning ahead of his swearing in, to see that he becomes an example of fighting fuel prices and at least tries to minimize his convoy. Even when he goes to Kenya and Tanzania, he goes by his jet, which consumes fuel on taxpayers' money. Then his convoy also goes through Malaba or Busia to Nairobi to again drive him in Nairobi, as if Kenya doesn't have cars.
He also points to what he describes as inconsistencies in policy direction, arguing that efforts to address poverty are being undermined.
It is quite absurd that if you can give someone money through Emioga or Bonabagagawale or Operation Wealth Creation, then after a few months you come and demolish those businesses, then we see that the country is like going 5 steps forward and 5 steps backwards. We don't now see the value and the purpose of these funds. And most of the beneficiaries of these funds were youth.
Looking ahead, he projects a challenging 5-year period, citing expected social, economic and political pressures.
As we are waiting for Mr. Museveni's swearing in, plus the legislators planning for their swearing in at Parliament, we really have to be cautious as Ugandans, especially we on the opposition side. We are on a trial to see that we show Ugandans a way forward.
According to Bulira, as Uganda transitions into a new political term, these concerns add to the broader national conversation on governance, economic management and democratic processes.
Because nowadays many Ugandans are trying to just watch the thrill of events, because many of them have lost hope. People have lost hope. Many of them voted in people who were not announced as leaders. The people they claim to have voted were not announced as winners. So Ugandans are living in desperation and in fear. Ugandans are in a mode of giving up and leaving everything to God. So we have a challenge as the opposition leaders to give fresh hope to Ugandans that we can sit up Ugandans and forge a way forward for a new Uganda beyond Mr. Museveni.
The new house, comprising directly elected constituency and districtman representatives alongside indirectly elected and ex officio members, will begin its 5-year mandate from 2026 to 2031. The May swearing-in ceremony is expected to usher in the new legislative and executive term, with stakeholders closely watching how the incoming leadership will respond to rising economic pressures, governance concerns, and growing public expectations. Betty Mudondo, NTV.